Hi everyone, my name is Pradeep Gujral and I am also the member of EXP Global India, and I've been part of EXP Australia as well. And today we've got an opportunity to discuss on real estate opportunities for non-resident Indians, and we will share our knowledge how to assist them and to make them invest in India, and as per the legal requirements, and what are the challenges that we have to overcome. Sorry, can you guys hear me? Am I audible?
You're audible.
Sorry, I can't hear anyone. So can you guys hear me? Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah. So we'll make this session interactive, and then you can ask any questions during the session, and then we can discuss with real examples as well. And just to let you know that I've been in touch with the coaching staff who coaches people regarding real estate in Australia. And then the story has been very successful. We have helped so many people over there, and so that they can benefit out of it. So I hope that this session will benefit all the agents in India as well. So let's start today's session with the agenda, what we're going to discuss today. So we will discuss about the real estate investment opportunities for non-resident Indians, which we call them NRIs. And we will discuss like the definition of NRIs, who the NRIs are. And then we will discuss about understanding the NRI investment landscape, like what are their preferences and where would they prefer to invest, like in India, and then legal considerations for NRI investors, like which includes key regulations in India which will permit them regarding their investments, and then which are the compliance requirements, like regarding the repatriation and regarding the funds. So there are so many laws involved. We'll discuss in detail as well. And then we'll discuss about the market conditions, like which are the opportunities that we can identify, and then we can present it to them, and which are the challenges that they always face, and then we have to help them to overcome those ones. And then we will also discuss about popular investment strategies for NRIs that has helped me in past as well. So I'll discuss with you, and then we will also discuss about the taxation and financial considerations, like once they have invested, so what will happen when they will sell the property, or what will happen if they will rent the property, how they will be taxed in India, and then how the funds will be repatriated back to them as well. And then we'll also discuss about financing options for them, or whether they are allowed to get the finance here or not. And then we'll also discuss about risk mitigation and due diligence. This is the main thing, because this stops NRIs to come here and invest. So we have to discuss in details as well. And then we'll conclude this session after our detailed discussion. Thank you. So do anyone have any question till now about the agenda that we have? If I haven't covered anything, are we good to start now? Sorry, can you hear me? Okay, sure. Okay, good. So basically, we always hear the term NRI. So who the NRIs are? So basically, NRIs are the non-resident Indians. So definition is written in Income Tax Act in India. So we have taken that term from there. So to qualify as an NRI, one must stay outside India for more than 182 days in a financial year. So financial year in India is deemed to be from 1st of April till 31st of March the following year. So if someone has stayed outside India for more than 182 days, that person will be deemed non-resident Indian for that financial year. It's not a calendar year. We have to remember always, it's a financial year. So a person or a citizen can be NRI for certain reasons. He can go out for work, or he can be a student even, or he can live overseas permanently. So basically, these are the reasons why a person might be abroad. And so there are other certain definitions of NRIs, which is resident but not ordinary resident. But I won't go into such detail now. If someone has questions about that, So we can always discuss it later. So, but to keep it simple, one is deemed to be NRI if that person is living abroad for more than 182 days. So that person will fall into that category. If he is living in India, even though that person is an overseas citizen of Indian origin, if he is living in India for less than 182 days, that person will be deemed as resident in India for tax purpose. As it is in my case, I am person of Indian origin, but I have got an Australian passport. But if I am living in India for less than 182 days, I will be deemed as resident in India for tax purpose. I hope this is clear to everyone. And then now we are coming to the main part, which is the real estate investment. So basically, why people want to invest in India. So we have to look at the economy as well. So India is one of the fastest growing economy in the world at the moment. So it's very lucrative in terms of capital gain returns as well, and it's very stable as compared to other countries, especially to Western countries at the moment, where the inflation is very high and the GDP growth is not catching up with the inflation. So that's why all the NRIs, they are looking towards India now, where the economy is very stable and inflation is backed up by high GDP growth. So that's why um, people are coming to in India to invest their surplus savings over here so that they can have long-term growth. So that's the main reason. And also, sorry, people obviously tend to park their money where they are comfortable. So we all are born in India. So that's why we are emotionally attached in India as well. So this is also one of the reasons. And also government has abolished all the unnecessary, procedures and laws in recent times and made it favorable for NRI investments, and which makes it very easy for us to come here and invest. And it's very easy to sell it and then get our money back over there. So these are the main reasons why people are looking to invest in India. So our job is to make even easier for them and to facilitate non-resident Indians to come here and then buy the properties here. Yeah, all good till now? Okay. So we have to understand the NRI investor landscape now. So this is the agenda that we are discussing now. So as I already discussed, that the market trend in India is very good, especially post COVID. Um, India has seen phenomenal growth in real estate and stock markets. So that's why people, obviously the bottom line is to earn money, and where it's very safe as well at the same time. It's not that risky. So India is a market which gives us opportunity to grow our capital at very moderate risk. So that's why this is a current market trend, which has encouraged people to come from overseas and to park their money to invest in India. And then what are the preferences? So we will discuss about those ones as well. So basically, there's a new trend in main cities that we can say they are high-rise apartments and the villas and the commercial properties. So people are very comfortable investing with the blue chip investors. So because I've done some research over there and then I've asked certain questions, NRIs like where would they like to park their money. So obviously there's a certain percentage of people who would like to buy land, but the major chunk of people, they would like to invest in apartments and villas for some reason, because it gives them guarantee, and it gives them safety about their properties as well, so that no one encroaches their property. It's very safe with blue chip builders. So that's where their preferences are. It's a gated community. There will be modern amenities, and then it will be equivalent to the facilities which they get overseas. So that's why they encourage to buy the properties with blue chip investors. I've already discussed about the investment motivations, like about capital appreciation, and the rental income is good as well over here. Even though if they don't want to come and live over here, they can always rent their property, and then they can get good returns out of it. And also it gives them opportunity to diverse their investments because they have already invested certain portion of their capital in their respective countries. For that matter, say if I'm Australian, I've already invested um, a good amount of money in Australian property, but I would like to diversify my portfolio, my real estate portfolio. That's why I would like to invest some in India as well. So these are the key drivers which motivate them to come here and invest in India.
Good
Is it
morning.
all good to know? Good morning.
I have
Yeah.
a question.
Yes, please.
Sorry, I just joined in. See,
Okay.
according to you, if since you've already worked and you're active in the NRI market, what according to
Yes,
you
please. Yeah.
is the best strategy to just tap into your what you call as your circle of influence, or get cold data and start sending emails and brochures over that cold data? What works according to you?
Okay. So obviously, first of all, we have to tap our known ones, which is our circle, as you said, because that's the readily available data. And then just tell them whatever you know about Indian story. And then we have to be very transparent about everything. That's why they will trust us. And then trust me, the cold data, obviously what you're saying, it doesn't work as effective as you would able to sell within your circle. But there are ways of doing other things as well. You you can tap into data, but there are some other strategies which I can discuss later, like how to approach the unknown people over there. And then because it's a matter of trust, people are very reluctant to come and invest overseas because, as you can also know, if you got money, you will be reluctant to invest where you don't live, if you agree with me. So that's why it's very easy to get into touch with your known ones. And um, and then you can build your database from their friends, and then in turn from their friends. So that's how you do it. This has been a really successful strategy for myself.
Okay, thank
Is
you.
it okay? Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, now we'll move on to the legal considerations for NRI investors. So first of all, we'll discuss about the eligibility requirements. Say for example, if a person is of Indian origin and that person is living overseas, that it's not it's not necessarily that that person can invest in India. Why I'm saying this? Because that person has to have an OCI, which is Overseas Citizenship of India. If that person doesn't hold OCI card or POI, that person can't buy anything in India. So this is the first requirement, even though that person is of Indian origin.
Can you
So
please repeat, Pradeep ji, this point?
yes, yes, yeah, of course. So for example, a person who is of Indian origin, that person is living overseas. Say for example, I give you an example of myself. If I'm living in Australia, right, even though I was born in India, but I moved overseas. If I have, say, Australian passport, I cannot invest in India till I have OCI card or POI card. OCI is Overseas Citizenship of India. So which is given by Government of India. You have to apply for that. First of all, we have to check with that person if that person holds OCI card. If not, that person has to apply and get the OCI card first. Otherwise, that person can't invest.
Does this
And
OCA
yeah,
card take some amount? Means like what is the costing and how is
so
it is?
yeah. So basically, OCI card gives you the permanent visa, so that person doesn't have to get visa in future whenever he wants to visit India. And then it gives him guarantee to invest in real estate. And there's a little fee, about $300 to $400, and that's a one-time fee. That's it. That he has to pay. No significant amount.
Countries, sorry, how many countries support this OCI card, or all countries support this OCI card?
So it's not the matter of support. It's given by Government of India. No matter where he lives, he can apply.
Uh, let me just
So
give.
basically, yeah, please.
Yeah, sorry about that. So Deep,
No, it's okay.
basically how the government works is Indian government does not allow dual citizenship.
Yes.
So just
This
to
is not
Yeah,
citizenship.
yeah, it's not citizenship, it's an overseas citizen card. Yeah,
Yeah, it's just a visa. It's just a
yeah,
visa,
exactly
yeah.
for
permanent visa.
people who were born in India but now they are overseas, they have left their Indian citizenship. So they
Yes.
they had to tackle with the situation where they have to reapply visas because अभी ई वीजा अब आए हैं, पहले ई वीजा नहीं. Just
Yes.
to give a ease, इन्होंने OCI दे दिया, which is equivalent to the your passport itself. You have all the rights.
Yeah.
Only thing is you cannot buy you cannot buy the agricultural land in India,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
you cannot vote in India. Rest everything you are
Exactly right.
Yeah.
you are governed by Indian law.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was aware that
basically,
this was only applicable for residents in Indian residents in UK, US, Canada, and some other countries. So
Everywhere.
No,
is
no,
this
no.
applicable everywhere,
Anywhere
right?
he lives.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you
The
so much.
condition is that person should have an overseas passport, obviously. If
Right.
that person has Indian passport, doesn't make any sense then, because he's already got an Indian passport. So this is not a passport. This is not a substitute for
Yes.
citizenship. This
Yes.
is just a permanent visa that person is getting.
Okay.
What
is a
about the
license, basically.
second? What about the second generation? Like somebody who has gone, but their next generation is born in that place, not in India.
Even that person can get OCI on behalf of their parents.
Okay, sure.
Even
So-
though he was born, that person is born overseas.
George,
So no problem.
let's see this way. People, इसका मतलब क्या होता है? People of Indian origin. अगर आपका किसी भी ब्लड रिलेटिव से कुछ भी रिलेशन इंडिया से है, so you can apply for either OCI or POI.
Exactly right. So
Great.
I give you another example, like related to myself. So I'm the only person who was born in India, but my wife, she is of Indian origin. She was born outside India. My kids, they were born outside India. But since my wife was of Indian origin, so on behalf of her parents, she could apply for OCI. So she got OCI on behalf of her parents because they were born in India. So basically, as my fellow member rightly pointed out, the person has to be of Indian origin, not born in India, if it makes it clear to you.
Thank you, Pradeep ji.
And also to add to that thing, yeah, he has already pointed out that the person of holding the OCI card cannot buy agricultural land, plantation properties, or farmhouses, or that person cannot vote as well. It's just the permanent visa, and these are the limitations of the visa. Okay, so these are the documentation that person should hold. Okay, so now coming to the other part. So we have got the documentation right. So that person should be NRI, so non-resident Indian, because we are discussing that one. And now it is mandatory. The government has made mandatory that every person should have the permanent account number, PAN card, we can call it. So that person should also apply for PAN because for the tax purpose. Otherwise, government cannot identify that person and cannot tax that person. So no one will allow you if you don't have the PAN. So first of all, we have to check whether he's got the valid visa, which is OCI or POI, and then whether he's got the PAN card as well. Okay, and also about the documents, I can, if that person is having any finances from India, so that person should have the power of attorney, should give power of attorney to a person who is living in India, because banks will not allow that person to have any loan if any power of attorney, POA, or general power of attorney person living in India. Say, for example, if I am buying any property in India, then if I wish to finance that property, then the bank will ask me, do you know anyone over here? Do you have any relative, any blood, in blood relation, so that I can give him the general power of attorney or the signatory power, because the bank cannot come to overseas and then ask me to sign those paperwork and cannot hold me against the property, if you know what I mean. Is it clear?
Pradeep ji, can you get it financed by a Australian bank?
Sorry. No,
No.
because overseas banks generally they don't finance the projects which are in India. Only the local banks will do it.
So how are they calculating eligibility? It's the mortgage plus
Over here,
when you're getting it financed from a Indian bank, obviously your property is mortgage plus how they are calculating your income for the EMI and all.
okay, yeah. So basically, they will ask for my income proof, which will be my salary slips if I am a salaried person. So they tend to give only the person who, like for NRIs, I've done the in-depth research. They will only, like, I cannot say they will not give loans to the business person, but they will prefer to finance the project to a person who is a salaried person. So they will ask for the salary slips, and then they will also ask for my credit report as well, which is acceptable wideward. So from a credible agency, say for example Equifax. So after getting those salary slips, bank statements, and my credit report, then they will work out the eligibility as well. Because in credit report you can clearly see whether you've got any other loans running, so it will be there. Say for example, if I've got a property over there and I've got $1 million loan, and then my salary wouldn't support more EMIs, then I won't be eligible to get it. I give you a simple example. If my salary is say $10,000 per month, and I am already giving EMIs and my household expenses, say for example up to $9,000, so I've got only spare money of $1,000 per month. So I cannot support further EMIs for the properties in India. So that's why they will not allow, they will deny the loan for me. If I've got say income of $10,000 and then I don't have any loan, which will be reflected on my credit report, it won't say any loan running against my name, then only they will work out my eligibility. So I hope this answers your question.
Yes,
Because
Pradeep, thank you.
everything is transparent these days, so you cannot hide anything, because bank statement, salary slips, and credit report in combination will depict the whole picture. If someone has defaulted against someone or some bank, any loan, it will be reflected on my credit report anyways. So they do have the ways to cross verify as well. Okay, so RERA compliance, so this is very, very important, because people overseas, they don't often know that there's a RERA law in India. But obviously in India everyone knows what RERA law is. It's the Real Estate Regulatory Authority law. So every builder has to get the RERA number before initiating any project. So we have to make people aware over there, because trust me, if we talk about any projects in India, okay, if we pitch anything, okay, this is a project which is coming in certain city, would you be interested investing there? There's most of the people will say, oh no, actually we are not very sure whether this will be completed in time or not. So we have to let them know this is not the case now these days. So they are the RERA compliance projects. So this has to be done, if we all agree with that. So those are the days which were like before 2018. These are gone. I'm also the victim of a couple of projects who invested in 2015, and I'm still waiting for the possession. But thanks to RERA, that I'm getting the compensation, and then I hope that I will get the position soon as well. So anyone who would like to comment on this one?
Pradeep ji, yes, I totally agree with you. When you were speaking about the finance part, it becomes
Yeah.
a huge hassle when arranging finances for an NRI buyer, because
Mhm.
banks generally they shy away from doing that. They totally are very hesitant. And
Yeah.
yes, you are correct. For a business profile, it is a 99% no. Only they
Yeah.
are okay going ahead with the service class
Salaried person. Yes.
salary person.
Salaried person. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
and in that also they do a much stricter due diligence in case of
Yes.
financing. Yeah. So in case of that, they check every other document. They check the expenses, any other
Yeah.
liabilities, anything. So yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, because obviously we have to look from the bank's perspective as well. Obviously, because if we are a salaried person, then obviously our income stream is regular. So they want to make sure that we are able to pay EMI on regular basis without any difficulty. If I'm a business person, there's no certain guarantee of income every month. It might go up or it might go down as well. So that's why they want to make sure that this person is sound enough to pay his EMI. So that's why I think these are the rules which are here. But obviously, if someone is, say, professional, a chartered accountant, or any other professional for any reason, so then the bank might consider as well. So then we can present that case. If, say, for example, if a person is a chartered accountant and then that person is in practice over there. So banks then might consider financing that person.
One question related to finance.
Yes.
That this, as per your experience and this compliance says in finances is very tedious, and definitely recovery is always issue for a bank, and in consideration of this they are keeping all the safeties. So what NRIs prefer, which type of banks, nationalized banks or private banks? Already XP, I think, have a tie up with SBI and SDFC. So what is your experience?
So basically, let me tell you, our preference, obviously, whatever they are, they don't matter at the end of the day. Say, for example, I would prefer to pay the lowest interest possible. But am I eligible to get loan from that bank? If that person, say, for example, Mr. A is Australian or that person is NRI living in USA. That person doesn't have finances, but that person is very keen to buy a property in India. So if A category banks, they don't finance that project because of his eligibility, then that person doesn't have any choice but to go for the B type lender. So we have to pitch. Obviously, we have to try hard to get that project finance for that person from A list bank. But if it can't be done, then we have to present the other options to that person as well. Don't let that deal go because of the finance. That's what my suggestion is.
Okay.
As per my experience. Because there are some properties which are not financed by A category banks anyways. Say, for example, Axis Bank. If you go there, say, and then there is a project which is run by B category or C category, say, builder, but it is attractive enough to investor. So what will we do? We have to go to other financier.
Yes.
So that's what it is. So basically, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Now the FEMA regulation. No problem. We'll move on to FEMA regulation. So FEMA is Foreign Exchange Management Act, which regulates how the money should flow into India and how it will go outside India. So it is very obviously the government will make it easier to welcome all the dollars and the foreign exchange to come into India, and makes it hard, if it's going out of India. So we have to understand. It's a very, very big and wide act, but we'll just try to understand in a nutshell. So how FEMA works. So not everyone can, pour the money in and then take the money out of India, profit it, and then do it. So there's a mechanism of there. So you have to tell the person, your client, that he has to open 2 accounts over here. One is NRE account, one is NRE account and NRO account. So basically, NRE account is the non-rupee external account, which means that the money can only come from overseas bank, from foreign exchange. Say, for example, if I am living in Australia, then I can only transfer in dollars. I cannot deposit money in India. I cannot take from Mr. A, or can you please deposit 10 lakh rupees into my account? No, this NRE account is purely an account which is converted from foreign exchange to rupees. But obviously, I can make payments to anyone in India from NRE account. Say, for example, if I bought, say, Experion, a unit in Experion, so I can pay to Experion account in rupees, but from dollars account. And a person can receive money from another NRE account. So NRE to NRE is permissible, but not from local account to NRE. So there's only one-way traffic. So once the money is gone out of NRE, then nothing can be done. It's converted into rupees forever. But the money sitting in NRE can be repatriated back to that person's account overseas without any hassle. So basically, it's just the temporary park of our funds from dollars to rupees in India. And NRO account is the ordinary rupee account. So basically, as any other local rupee account, NRO is very similar to that. So any local income which is generated by that person will be deposited straight away into NRO account. Say, for example, if I'm doing any business in India, so my local income will be deposited into NRO account. It cannot go into NRE account. It is not permissible. Say, for example, if I'm doing any job in India now, and I'm receiving any salary from local company, then it will be deposited into NRO account. So, okay, what's the importance of these accounts if we are talking about NRI investors. So we have to tell them that you have to open two accounts. One is NRI account and one is NRO account. So the significance of these accounts are, once the property will be, say for example, first of all, we have to pay the installments. So the installments can be paid directly either from the overseas bank to the builder's account, if we have to book the units or the property into NRA quota. Why I'm saying that, if you will pay from the local bank account, then it will be very hard later on to tax, to give tax and convert that money and then take back to India, out of India. So that's why it is advisable in the first place, if any NRI investor is buying property in India, to buy either from NRE account or directly from overseas bank, to prove that the money directly came from overseas and that person has invested that money from overseas account only. Any questions, guys?
Yes, Pradeep ji, I think I would like to know a bit more on this one.
Sure.
Let's say, for example,
Sure.
I have a NRE NRO account and I have a foreign account as well. Now I'm transferring funds to my, let's say, Bank of Nova Scotia, from that bank to HDFC Bank, जहाँ पे मैंने अपना NRE NRO
Right.
account open किया हुआ है, ठीक है?
Right.
Now I'm buying a property in India, but
Yeah.
I'm not buying it on my name. I'm buying it on my father's name.
Right.
So I'm gonna transfer those funds from my NRE NRO account to my father as a gift,
Yes. Okay.
and then he can buy the property.
Yes.
But down the line, let's say he wants to sell that property, he will be selling,
Yes.
or he wants to transfer that property to my name,
Yes.
and then I'm gonna sell it off. Will the funds gonna come back to my NRE NRO account, or will that go to any Indian bank account, like a regular bank
Okay.
account?
Okay. So basically, just to break it down, it's a very complex situation. Doesn't happen every day. But just to answer your question, first of all, if your father wish to buy property in his name, then your father should have his NRE NRO account as well. So you transfer funds to him directly, and then in turn he will buy that property. Okay. So first of all, we have to understand that the government is watching, and then the tax should not be evaded.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There should be tax planning, but not tax evasion. So somehow someone has to pay tax in any form.
Right.
Say for example, if I am transferring funds or property to anyone so that he can sell that property, for tax free, and then in turn give back to me. So, but the government will be obviously smart enough to identify that person is trying to evade tax.
Mm.
But to answer your question, if your father or whosoever that person is, say my wife or my kid, if he wants to buy property, then the account should be in his name or her name only. And then, say for example, I transfer funds from, say, HSBC Bank from Australia to my NRE account. Then my wife will also have NRE account. I will transfer to her NRE account, and then she will make payment from there. Then when the property will be sold, okay, then it won't go straight to NRE account. It will go to NRO account.
Achha.
First, because that property is sold in rupees, and then that amount will be taxed if there is any profit, and then after tax that amount will be transferred to NRE account. But saying that, you have to obtain certificate from your chartered accountant and from buyer as well. So the buyer will also deduct TDS. I'll come to that point later. Say for example, and we'll discuss in detail as well, like how the TDS works. Okay. So, but to answer your question, this is the significance of NRE and NRO account. You can purchase, you can make payments through NRE, but you cannot receive your amount back into NRE.
But from
because
NRO,
the property is sold in NRE. Yes, please.
But from NRO account, can we transfer the funds back to our original, let's say, HD?
No, you cannot. So that's what I'm saying. NRO account is a local account.
Right.
You cannot do anything. It will be sitting there in rupees only. Once the amount is taxed, then only you can transfer into NRE, and from NRE you can transfer back to your account, wherever you want.
Perfect.
So NRE is the external account which is facilitated for you by government, and which is obviously after tax thing.
Makes sense.
Even if you bought a property, say in Noida, right, and you rented it out, you are getting monthly rent. it cannot be deposited into an NRE account. It will be deposited only into an NRO account, and that will be deemed your local income. You have to file income tax return every year. You have to pay tax on it. And then after tax, if you wish to repatriate that amount, you can do it because it's already been taxed.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. And then repatriation rules, obviously, as I already mentioned, it is covered by FEMA regulations. Only when the amount is taxed, then you can do it. But obviously, there are certain regulations as well. You cannot buy 100 properties and repatriate back to your country. So the limit is that you can do the sale proceeds up to of up to 2 residential properties, and or you can obtain the approval from RBI in any exception as well. So RBI is the boss. So you can, even though I tell you, even though if you think, I'm coming to TDS point next. Say for example, since we are talking about RBI, even if you think that there won't be much profit in there, you can still apply for lower TDS or no TDS deduction to RBI, and RBI may approve it. So this is another thing. Say for example, if we bought a property of 1 crore and then we sold it, say, for 1 crore, hypothetically, there's no profit on it. And then there is a requirement of, say, 22% of TDS deduction or 20% of TDS deduction from buyer. That the buyer will, it is instructed to the buyer that the buyer should deduct TDS of 20% from the sale proceeds and deposit it with tax department. So your 20 lakh will be gone and you will receive only 80 lakh, even though you don't have any profit, and you still have to wait for, for 1 year till you file your tax returns. In that case, you just apply for the lower TDS or no TDS deduction to RBI, present your documents, your registration papers, original ones of the property, and the sale papers that to prove that there is no profit, and the RBI might approve it. Is it clear? And also legal representation, as I already mentioned that before as well, that all the documents and everything has to be verified by a legal lawyer over here. So basically, we call over there as conveyancers or the solicitors. In India, we can call them lawyers. So all the documents needs to be verified, and all the titles and needs to be done by legal representatives over here.
And so these processes are over the net, or one has to physically be present in RBI?
No, there's no need to be physically over here. You can appoint anyone as your legal representative, but what you have to do is over there, you have to go and then prepare a legal representation and signed by notary and send it to that person, that you have appointed someone over here as well. So I think the lawyer over there charges somewhere in Australia, say $250 per document. Say, for example, I've appointed Mr. X as my legal representative over here. So I will go there and then I'll write, I hereby appoint Mr. X as my legal representative to look into all the real estate matters in India. And this will be signed and notarized by the notary over there. So he will charge that amount, and then I can send this document to Mr. X, and then he can attach that document that he is authorized by me to deal in the property matters on my behalf.
That's power of attorney, right?
Yes, you can call it.
Okay, but that person has to go physically to the RBI, or it can be done?
No. No one has to go to RBI. No one has to go to RBI. It's just the document. Whenever there is an inquiry, and then that person will be asked, like, obviously, say for example, not only government, say the builder might ask as well.
Sir, for seeking permissions from RBI, and that's what I'm asking.
Oh, no. There is an online form, and then you can appoint your chartered accountant. He will do all the formalities. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to come here. Your chartered accountant will do everything, and then you will get the certificate of approval.
All right, sir. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
I have a question, Pradeep, pertaining to TDS.
Yes.
With respect to the new tax regime, TDS, this thing, that 12.5% on this thing is applicable, right? This old is gone on capital gains. So in that, in the newer scenario, can we apply for LTDS?
Lower TDS, you mean?
Yeah.
No, the TDS rate won't change. It will be there, and you will get the refund back.
Okay.
So you cannot say the rate of tax is this, and then I should be eligible for the lower TDS. No, the TDS will be charged at 20% or 22% only. If there is any refund, you will get the refund back, because you might earn some other incomes as well in there. So that's why the government has bumped up the TDS rate as compared to the capital gain, if you know what I mean. So there's
Pradeep, sorry to interrupt. Could you just please clarify, because I've had personal experiences in the past. A client
sure.
of mine, we actually filed for a lower TDS, lower tax certificate, and
Sure.
that TDS was lowered from 23.8 to about 3.3%,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So, are there any changes in the new tax regime regarding this, as you're saying? Because this is actually what happens is that my CA takes up these cases and they file for a lower tax certificate. So generally,
Yes.
they give a guaranteed result that okay, fine, this can be done. And second
Yes.
of all, what is the criteria to be eligible for
Yeah.
that lower tax certificate?
Yeah, as I previously said, the criteria is obviously to look into it whether there is actual profit into the transaction or not. Say for example, I just give you an example. If someone bought a property of say 1 crore, right, over here, and it's sold for 3 crores, I cannot apply for lower TDS. If it's sold for 3 crores on paper, there is a clear profit of 2 crores. So that person has to pay tax. In those cases where you are talking about is if on papers that property is sold for the lower value or very close to the purchase value, and then to convince obviously there's not much profit on to this one, and then the taxation amount will be lower, much lower than the TDS amount, then only the RBI will give permission, if it makes sense. Say for example, if your profit is only 2 lakhs, right, which comes under the criteria, and there is no other income considering, then it comes into the tax free threshold bracket. So then the RBI will tend to give you permission. But if your income is in crores, obviously then they will deduct the amount which is prescribed.
So, Deep, if I may add to what Pradeep is saying, earlier there was a concept of indexation for a property.
Yes.
If I purchase a property at 1 CR and selling it as say after 20
Yep.
years, the inflation cost and the cost of construction, if it is a plot or whatever, is added to it, and then you arrive to a price, say 1.5 CR or 1.7
Purchase
CR.
price. That's right.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
becomes your cost of property on that particular day of the sale of the property.
Cost of acquisition, yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
then including the current like index price as well, cost of acquisition plus
Yeah.
index price. You have to add the that value as well. So
You can tell it. You can say it indexed cost of acquisition.
Yeah, but I've had actually cases in the past that the actual cost of acquisition for the property was actually coming out to be approximately 75 lakhs, and it was actually
Yep.
further sold for about 1.1. So there was a
Yeah.
minor difference of about 35 lakhs. So even in
Mhm.
that case, the our chartered accountant filed for a lower tax certificate, and they got an
Okay, sir.
exemption for from 23 to 3%. Obviously,
Okay.
they charge hefty fees for that,
So
but
this is basically
yeah.
like underhand thing, Deep, that we are doing it. Matlab, my question to Pradeep was like precisely the same. With this 12.5% like taxation currently, TDS part of it, this indexation is ruled out now.
Yeah, that's why I was just confirming. Are there any changes in the new tax? That's why my question was there.
TDS rate hasn't changed.
Okay.
TDS rate hasn't changed till now.
Okay.
So obviously, government wants to wants the buyer to deduct the same amount of TDS. It's just the indexation is gone. It's just so it's not only for NRIs. We have to understand the indexation is gone for everyone. So government
Yeah.
wants to tax heavily on
Property
basically
transactions.
capital
Yeah.
gains.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Property
capital
transactions.
gains.
Yeah.
So we have to understand why there is a TDS provision. Government doesn't want to run after people to collect tax overseas.
Exactly.
I'm sitting in Australia. Someone might be sitting in US or England for that matter. So
Yeah.
where will people go and ask for the tax collection?
It's
So that's
basically
why
counter
tax should
tax
be
evasion.
collected
Yeah.
in the country itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Understand.
So basically,
That's
tax should be collected in the current country itself
yes.
where
Yes.
the transaction has happened. And then and the government is saying, obviously, fair enough. If you got any refund, you will be given refund. No problem. Just file the tax return and then we'll see. So that's what the idea is.
Pradeep ji, just out of context, just a normal query. What is the general timeline for a refund to be reflected? Because I filed a refund for one of my clients. That refund
Yep.
was for about 5 lakhs, and
Yep.
that refund hasn't still reflected. I mean, we filed it in the last financial year, so it was filed in, I
Wow.
think, June or July. Until now, it has not been refunded, and there has been no notification from the department as well. So, what is
I
the
think you should
timeline?
chase it up. In my case,
If anyone else can
we
just
filed
share their
like 2-3
knowledge.
months maximum. In 2 to 3 months, your refund should come. I think you should follow it up.
Deep, we normally file it in the month of July,
Yeah.
and by October
Yeah.
latest we receive it.
Yeah.
If it is
That's what
not
I'm
there,
saying.
you have to kind of reach out to the tax department, stating this refund is yet to be processed.
Yeah.
Kind of do the needful, or if the need is
Because now these days, yeah.
then go to the officer and then talk to him. There could be some issue. That is the reason. Otherwise, normally it doesn't take such a long time.
Okay, and
It
even if
takes
it's
only
not
2 to 3
reflected
months.
in the portal, it's not notified in the portal.
That is what
It
if there
means
could be some.
it's not been processed.
Okay, it is not. Yeah, it has not been processed yet. Yeah.
Yes.
There could have been some communication that there was some issue with the filing or whatever, which you
Yeah.
might have missed it. You check it up with your CA or the guy who is doing it. He will be able to kind of reach out to the officer and get the solution to it. Na?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
client is
there
after
might be,
my life
your
because I was taking the whole responsibility of his transaction and his finances as well. So he's after my life. कि भाई मेरा refund कहाँ चला गया? तो
Of
ठीक है,
course.
I'll check with the.
And there might be, sometimes the buyer might be negligent enough and then doesn't, deposit that TDS to the
No,
government and
everything
then
was
doesn't obtain this.
everything was done very. I mean,
Okay.
by procedure. So okay,
Smoothly.
fine. I'll
Yeah.
check with my
Okay.
accountant then.
Sure. No
Thank you.
problem. Okay. We should just move on to the next one then. Yeah. So market conditions and opportunities and challenges. As we have already discussed, there are lots of opportunities in India. And then believe me, the real estate market in India is very hot at the moment as compared to, overseas markets. So the real estate market in India is becoming very, very stable. If I talk about like the Western markets, they are not very stable at the moment. They are a little bit volatile. Say, if I tell you the trend in Australia has been up, but then you get like the hit as well in a couple of years. So you don't get as much returns in terms of capital gain in terms of appreciation as you get in India. We can all agree with that. Thanks to our good population in India who are living here, so they're backed up by good demand. So that's why people living abroad, they see good opportunities to invest in India due to high appreciation for some reasons, and the economy is doing very well. It's in news all the time. So these are the things which attract people living there to come here. But obviously they are hesitant because of certain things, which you guys might agree with that. So which are the challenges? So the challenge is obviously complex legal procedures and all the documentation. They say, oh, who will go through all the hassles? There will be so many documentation. We won't be able to do that. We won't be able to run. We won't be able to travel India quite often. But if we convince them that they don't need to do anything, as my fellow member said, that he did everything for that person, then it will become very easy for our client, and then we will be able to sell a lot more properties to people overseas than we think of. And then there's another thing, we convince people, or just buy these properties, whether it's commercial or residential, then you can rent it out, you can get regular stream of income. Then we'll say, but who will manage that
No
property?
voice.
Who will collect rent? I'm sorry, did someone say anything? Okay.
No voice,
Yeah,
please.
so there no voice. Oh, give me 1 second. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we are able to hear you.
Okay. So basically, these are the challenges. So they will shy away of buying properties in India because they'll say, oh, who will look after our properties? Who will manage those ones? And then above all, they'll say, because there's a thing in their mind that there might be some title disputes. One property is being sold to 10 people, and then who will go to court and then go into litigation process. So we have to convince them that this is not the same India which was like 10 years back. The things been changed for good. So now it's very safe to invest in India. There's RERA in place, and then we can do due diligence for them. We can take care of all the paperwork, which is not very hard. But obviously, they have to give us all the required documents. For example, as we discussed, like POI or OCI card or their PAN. Even we can assist them in applying those paperwork. If we can convince our clients, then they can happily invest, because the bottom line is to earn money, and the money is very good. The appreciation is very good in India. So they are not complaining about returns. They are complaining about the complex procedures, whether it's legal procedure or compliance or repatriation, FEMA, whatever you can say. So as per my experience, I did the same thing. I took everything on my own. I said, okay, you don't worry, I'll present these opportunities to you. I'll do all your documentation. I'll do all your taxation and everything. You just have to sign. You just have to approve, and that's it. And then I was very successful doing it. So these are the challenges, obviously, that we have to overcome. So all the opportunities, they do come with challenges. So we have to find ways to overcome those ones as well. And then talking about exchange rates, obviously your clients will argue what will happen about exchange rates as well. Say, for example, it might go adverse. If someone is sending, say, $500,000 right now, and if the rupee has appreciated, then obviously their money, their returns will be impacted by the percentage amount of the appreciation in rupee. But obviously right now it's in favor of the sender. If it's in favor of the investor who is sending money to India rather than repatriating back from India. Say, I just give you a clear example. A person, say, for example, buying a property now, say at the rate of, I can give you example of Australian dollars. Say someone has to pay $200,000 at 55 rupees per Australian dollar. So which is about 1 crore and 10 lakh. But say, for example, if the rupee becomes stronger going forward by 10%, so obviously that person will be benefited by 10% because the rupee has gone up. So that person will get $11,000 more just simply by investing in India. So we have to look into those things as well. Whether the rupee, what's the prospect of rupee going forward? But history tells us it is becoming weaker and weaker. So these are some things for your thought as well. So exchange rate is playing very important part. So there are some things which take care of this. We can hedge our exchange rates as well. There are certain banks and companies you can lock into future contracts. If the plan is obviously to invest and get money, say within a couple of years, then you can hedge against the exchange rates as well, if necessary, if there's a hefty amount. If it's a small amount, then you don't need to worry about it. Is it all good? Sorry, is it all good?
Yes.
Sorry, guys. Can you hear me?
It sounds good.
Okay.
Just another small question.
Yes.
See, recently we attended a meeting by one of the top developers in Gurgaon called Kusumi Developers. So it's basically based on an Indo-Japanese theme. So how do you basically cater to such clients who are looking for that particular niche, wherein that whole concept, the whole project is based upon that Indo-Japanese theme, where they're mostly catering to Japanese expats or diplomats or that sort of clientele. So if a project is based upon a particular theme or targeting a particular niche or a particular community, how do you target that?
So basically what you're saying is, but is the client interested in investing in that project? Is that what you're saying?
Well, my question is how to reach out to such clients who might be interested.
Okay.
Yeah, how to filter out those clients. Yeah.
So obviously we have to identify like the potential clients first of all as well, that who would be interested. Say, for example, a person sitting in maybe UK, he might not be that much interested, but the person who is of Japanese expat who is living in Japan, that client might be more interested investing into that theme, because that person can correlate that theme more as compared to the other person. I give you another example. Said, we all know about Dubai, right? That Dubai it's becoming one of the hottest investment hub in the world as well. So it's everywhere. So if people are aware of like what's going around them, it will become very easy for us to make them understand the whole concept. If I say someone about, if I tell someone about Dubai project in Australia, they say, yeah, we heard about it. People over here are investing in Dubai as well. Let's do it. So they will give you go ahead nod very easily. It won't take much time for you to convince them. So that's what your question was, right? If that particular theme project is there, so how to convince people to make them invest into that, isn't it? So the person who can correlate to that theme or who can understand that investment project is a better person to invest into it. So that's what my idea is.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, about taxation and financial considerations, again, we've already covered much, like how to, NRIs must pay tax on rental income, obviously. So basically, the rule is income earned or accrued in India will be taxed in India only. We cannot say, we'll club that income overseas only. No, income earned and accrued in India will be taxed in India itself. And then that income will be deposited into NRO account. We have already covered that. And then obviously there will be a TDS even on rental income as well. So the person who is paying us rent will be deducting TDS and depositing the rest into our account. So once our tax return will be filed, then we'll get our TDS back. And capital gains, as we are all aware, it's the same rule for everyone, whether it's Indian or non-resident Indian. So tax rules will stay the same. It's just the rate of tax or the TDS, which will be.
Abhishek, I think we lost Pradeep.
Yes. So, guys, how do you find the today's session? Good morning, everyone.
The session is very informative, interesting, and a lot of inputs how we can work with the NRI clients. So it's really great.
Great. So, guys, obviously now we are towards the end of our week. Again, training sessions. There are still there are 2-3 sessions left. So the whole idea of having these sessions is just to give you a knowledge from the agent's perspective, a knowledge how agents are working. Because yesterday evening, Shashank's session was also good. Even yesterday morning, Sachin Taneja sector session was very good. I was listening kind of the conversation today also with Pradeep ji, right? So he's very good because he has gone through the whole process by himself, and being an NRI, he understands the challenges also. So I think his knowledge was more coming from the real, or I would say real side of the business, and that was the intention of having these agent-led session, so that each one of you should get what your questions are. And after these sessions, I'm sure that you will feel more confident and better to do business when it comes to questions, client handlings, and all these challenges. Because now I think most of the questions was in your mind is already being clarified whenever it asked by the agent, or through the presentations, or through the sessions taken by the agents itself. And I really feel a good thing about these sessions that it's all EXP agents who are working, and if they are doing it, they are happy to share it. So all good leaders, they don't shy away sharing their knowledge. They don't feel like कि अगर मैं share करूंगा तो मेरा knowledge कम हो जाएगी या competition आ जाएगा. So that is one spirit which I have seen from all the agents. They are sharing their real-time examples, real-time knowledge with each one of you. So you all should start working and supporting other agents. And I think this is what the EXP, again, one of the core value is collaboration, where each agent will try to collaborate with other agents, sharing on the best knowledge, and then only you can expect more business. Like, for example, Pradeep should be the go-to person when it comes to the client who's based out of NRI, or who's based out of Australia, who can be a good help, because Pradeep can connect with you and your agents, and then they can you guys can actually help work together, sharing some referrals, and then you will be able to close the transaction. So use the expertise of one individual in terms of using or closing the business.
Yeah, thank you so much. So can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Sorry,
sir.
can you?
Yeah.
So just before concluding this session, we've already discussed some strategies as well, like how to make our clients invest in India. Before concluding this session, I would like to ask people if they would like to discuss more about it, or if someone has any other questions, or they would like to connect in future as well. If they've got any other questions in future, then I'll be very happy to work with them, closing some more transactions for the clients. Sorry, is it all good?
Yes, I think all good. lots of issues on how to approach NRI clients.
Yes, sir. Pankaj Sharma here.
Yes, sir. Hanji, sir.
I just wanted to ask, how do you find out that NRI clients leads and all? So, is there any?
Yes. So basically, as I initially discussed, the first point of contact should be your own contacts overseas. Your friends, your family, your known people. If if you are able to convince those ones first, obviously, then it will be a huge confidence booster, and then you can expand your client database from there. And then other method is obviously you can advertise online as well. But obviously you have to make your name first. You have to make your goodwill and the reputation first amongst the community, because it's not something that you are selling a small product over there. We are selling a real estate, and that real estate is overseas too. It's very, very important to win their trust first. That's what I discussed initially. So basically, I started with my known people, and then I expanded my horizons. My name got, circulated through the community, and then people started knowing me. So that's how you do it. You should start from, if you don't have anyone, who overseas, then obviously you can target through online marketing. But obviously, then you have to. So the bottom line is you have to win their trust. So this is what it is basically. Because why should the other person should trust you when you are sitting overseas? So this is the question that we have to ask ourselves. Will he be able to, invest $1 million or $2 million on our word? He doesn't even know us. So will we do the same thing? If someone calls us, say from Australia, and say, "Oh, there's a very good opportunity, by the way, would you be able to invest 5 crores? Then you will get profits of say 1 crore within a couple of years." What will we do? So we have to put ourselves into the buyer's shoes as well. And then, we should start thinking what the other person might be thinking at the same time. So this is what my suggestion is, that we should start with our known ones, or, it might be any person who is remotely known to us, maybe through other friends or some other friends. So we can start with them.
All right.
Pradeepji, I have a question.
Yes,
What
please.
is the returns usually you get in a real estate in Australia, and what is the factor that he will not consider investing in Australia and consider India, because obviously the main agenda is to get money,
Yes.
make returns.
Of course. Yeah. So basically, what I tell people is you get opportunities everywhere throughout the world. It's not like we look at the average returns, but there are some pockets in Australia as well where you get good returns. You have to identify those pockets. Okay. So people in Australia, they invest everywhere. And then some people, they get good returns, some don't. Some, they just, go into negative. So it's the matter of identifying good investments. So the people who go to, professionals, say for example, buyer agents, they get good returns, because that's the job of buyer agent, to identify the good investments. So the average return that you get over there is ranging between 5 to 10% bracket in Australia. If it's a good return, it's considered very good return. But in some pockets, having said that, you can earn even 15 to 17% per year as well. But
This is, we are
not
talking
in
about the price
Australia.
appreciation, no?
Price appreciation. That's
Yeah.
right. But having said that, there are some hefty costs as well, which is stamp duty. So stamp duty, say, is about like 3 to 5% of the cost of the property. Say, for example, if you bought a property of, say, $1 million, you have to pay $55,000 only for the stamp duty. And then there's a seller's commission as well, which is 3%. So which is a hefty amount again. So, 8 to 10% goes into the cost. So it's not worth it that you buy a property and then you sell it straight away or within 1 year. And there are some other costs which are associated at the same time. Say, for example, if you bought a property and then it's your investment property, you just rented it out. So what you have to do is, rent won't be enough to cover those expenses. It is mandatory for you to get landlord insurance, which is a insurance which is the amount that you pay to the insurance company to cover any default on rentals, which covers insurance on your property. They are the council charges. They are very hefty as well over there. This is about say $1,000 per quarter. So for example, if you obtain a rent of say 36,000 per year, your expenses will be 50,000. So you have to cover the, the negative portion of your costs as well at the same time. So what we look into it is, say for example, if we buy a property in Australia and then our negative gearing, the negative portion is say 15,000 per year. But if you hold that property for say 4 years and then what you paid out of pocket is $60,000, and then your average return is say 10% per year. So for 4 years you hold it, and say hypothetically the price is 1 million. So 1 million time 40% is 400,000. So your net gain will be 340 and less other expenses. So you will make say 250,000. So 25% you will still make out of it. So that's the average return in Australia is. But the story in India is different. You can still, pass on to that property to other person while it's being built. It is not mandatory to register into your name first and then sell it, which is not the case in Australia. So that's what makes India as an very attractive investment destination. As we all know that you don't need to wait for the property to complete and register under your name, pay the registration charges, pay other charges, and then do it.
So whoever is renting out is making a negative return in terms of rent?
Yes, overseas definitely.
Oh, is it?
Definitely they will. So what they do is, there is a concept of negative gearing. So they say, oh, we'll just save tax on it because they've got other income as well. So they say, oh, we'll offset the loss in rent and then we'll save on taxes. But I don't understand the phenomena. Loss is loss. So basically this is the case overseas. So that's why we can count on it, and then we can tell people that there's nothing negative gearing phenomena in India. So you please invest here and then make money out of it. So that's what I've been doing, and then I was very successful doing it. So basically, in nutshell, what I'm telling you is, if you want to target some overseas market, we should have knowledge about both markets, Indian market and the overseas markets. Then only you can compare it. Say for example, if we say something about India and the other person starts arguing about investing in that particular country, if we don't have knowledge about that one, so how will we convince? How will put our point? And how will we compare this property which is sitting in India with the property overseas? So what I would request our fellow members is, if we wish to say do business overseas or with NRI clients, then we should start researching about that respective country as well at the same time, and then expand our business over there. So that's what my suggestion is.
I think great suggestions and great knowledge you have shared. There are a couple of things which is again new for all of us.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. So anything else, guys, that we need to discuss, or should we just wrap it up from here?
Yeah, I think great session, guys. Give a big shout out for Pradeep, sir. Yes, he's also available on Workplace. You can go and find his details. He's also added in the EXP North India group as well as the announcement.
Thank you so much, Pradeep ji. Thank you. Very valuable.
Thank you so much for all your knowledge sharing at the same time, for all your views. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure we all learned from each other today. And then I look forward to learn from you guys in future as well. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Pradeep ji. Thank you.
Thank you, G. Thank you.